a few seconds.
Yeah.
I'm just starting it right now. Okay, it's setting it up.
All right. Now you can ask me questions if you have any.
Yes, Bhante. So I don't see a question, but I had a question.
Yeah.
Yesterday we talked about the virtue of taking care of parents. And there is a big problem in modern society. Maybe it wasn't the case at the time of the Buddha. What about people that have been abused by their parents? We sometimes know of really horrible kind of abuse that happened. How should those people deal with this? How should they handle when they become grown up and then they have been abused by their parents during their childhood?
Excuse me, could you repeat the question again?
Yes, the question is, yesterday we talked about the virtue of taking care of parents. How about when children have been abused by their parents? How should they deal with this when they become grown-ups? Could you hear me, Bhante? Children that have been abused by parents, how should they take care of parents when they become grown-ups, when they've been abused as children?
Yeah, even if parents children remember when they grow up, when they don't remember everything. They remember only those things that the parents have said to them, don't go there, don't do this, don't speak like that. All this don't, those are the things they remember. And reprimanding, and sometimes punishing. Those things sometimes children remember, but before that, what parents have done for them, they don't remember. And those, the period that they cannot remember are the most important, crucial period. Those that is the period, say for instance, before they were 2 years old, maybe first 2 years from the birth, the parents have done, literally they have given us life. They could have simply neglected us, or even abort when we are in the mother's womb. They can abort. They could have done anything to us, but they have not done any harm to us. They let us live, and then they took care of us just like their own lives. As we say in the Karaniyamata Sutta, just as a mother would risk her own life to protect her children, her only child. That means mothers sometimes sacrifice their lives, parents sacrifice their lives for the sake of their babies. And that is the time most important in our life. And therefore, whether the parents were afterwards, sometimes they appear to be very cruel, unkind, and those we can neglect, ignore. But those times that we cannot remember are the most important. Those are things we must take into account to take care of our parents when they are unable to do anything by themselves. Just like we were unable to do anything by ourselves when we were very young, the parents come to a stage where they cannot do anything they want to do. Especially that time, it is more painful because they remember when they were young, they were able to do a lot of things: talking, walking, running, climbing, and cooking, cleaning, walking, running, all sort of things they used to do. Now they are very old. None of those things they can do now, and therefore they feel even more miserable, more unhappy. And therefore that is the time the children who are able uh, to help their parents. As we mentioned in the Mangala Sutta, Buddha said, supporting parents is a blessing. So this has a very great moral, ethical value in taking care of our parents. Okay.
We have some follow-up questions on this, Bhante. What about when the parent abandons the child, say when the child is 12 years old? What about a parent that abandons their child?
You know, when the child is abandoned by parents sometimes, then the child must remember, at least my parents let me be born, even though now, even after birth, they can just strangle us and kill us. They didn't do that. They simply abandoning means they are unable to take care of them. They are very poor. They are perhaps mentally not stable, and because of some unusual situation, they might abandon children. Otherwise, normally they don't abandon. Anyway, even if they have abandoned children and children are adopted by somebody else and grow up, then children begin to think, who are my parents? Who is my mother? How can I find her? Many a time, those abandoned children, when they grow up, matured, became adults, they go in search of their mothers. That happened. And then they take care of their parents. And then, of course, if the parents are alive, if they are in sound mental health, then they themselves would regret and reunite them again. That is possible. So, and by all means, it is our responsibility. Taking care of children is not parents' duty, but taking care of children is parents' love and uh, compassion. Out of compassion and love, they take care of children. But children, for giving their life, they must help parents as out of gratitude.
Yes, there's again a follow-up question because this is an important topic, very touchy for many people. What about severe mental and physical abuse and sexual abuse? Like
Right.
I know a girl in college, she had been raped by her father. She cannot be with that man anymore.
And that, of course, is very unfortunate. These are unusual situations. There are exceptions. Exceptions don't make rules. What we talk about in normal situation, in exception situation, of course, children have great pain when they grow up, remembering even at the moment they were abused. At that time, they feel very helpless. That is a very unusual thing. So I think it is better for them to, if they, when they grow up, when children learn Dhamma and understand the nature of human greed, hatred, and delusion, so they must try to forgive and forget the abusers. Of course, when they were abused, there are laws in every country in modern society to protect children and take legal procedures to deal with those things. But if it doesn't happen, sometimes sometimes father can rape his own daughter, little daughter, and threaten her not to tell the mother or not tell anybody. And then, of course, if she, so he would tell that both she and her mother would be killed if he revealed this to somebody. So we have heard stories like that. So in that case, the girl cannot do anything. But when she grow up, of course, if it is very human, it is natural human nature that they conceive grudge or hatred towards that kind of fathers. That is natural. But if possible, if they understand this, these people are perverted, sexually perverted people. They are not normal to abuse their own daughters. The perversion is unavoidable for some people. So when they grow up, then they have to learn Dhamma and try to forgive and forget those situations. It may be easy to forgive, and yet they may not forget it. When they remember such things, still they have to develop their compassion towards those people with understanding the Dhamma. That is our advice. That we like to give. Okay?
Another question about parents. Dear Bhante, we tend to become like our parents, especially in the negative way, even when we try not to. How do we break the chain and how do we not become like them? So if parents have negative tendencies, and we don't want to become like our parents with their negative tendencies, how do you break the chain?
Could you read the question again?
Yes, we tend to become like our parents, especially in the negative way, even if we try not to. How do we break the chain and not become like that, like them? This is also true for abused children. They become abusers when they grow up. So how do we avoid this?
You mean abuse?
Like a lot of times, children that were abused, they themselves become abusive.
Right.
How to break the chain?
Right. This is what you call a chain reaction. They were abused and therefore they abuse. And they abuse and their children, and then children becomes abusers and so on. Right. This is a vicious cycle. So at least at one generation, people, if they learn Dhamma and learn to stop abusing, understanding the other people's feelings, respecting others' honor and dignity, one can avoid this. They have to break the chain at some times, but we cannot continue like animals all the time. We have to come out of that mental state. That is the purpose of learning Dhamma, learning meditation. So if we learn Dhamma, practice Dhamma, and try to live in accordance with the Dhamma, then we would be able to break the cycle and respect others' honor and dignity, and stop this, and then that help both them and their so-called victims to liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. We simply cannot go for eye. So we have to break it. And sooner or later we have to learn not to do that. Okay, that is also the Buddha's advice is like that. Yes.
Bhante, can one who's a monastic or even lay person announce their attainment at any stage of enlightenment? So can you announce your attainment at some stage of enlightenment? And when is this considered parajika, one of the great offenses? So can you announce your stage of enlightenment, your stage of spiritual attainment? Can you hear me, Bhante? Can you announce your attainment of enlightenment or any stage of enlightenment? Can you announce it? Can you tell people? And when is it considered parajika?
One is considered to be what?
Can you announce your attainment? Tell somebody your attainment of any stage of enlightenment. Can you tell somebody if you have various degree of enlightenment? And when is this considered parajika?
Right. If somebody without attaining any higher stage, even jhana, sotapanna, and so forth, without attaining any of these higher supramundane states, without attaining them, if this person pretends that he has attained it, and out of what you call hypocritical sense, he tells others that he has attained such and such a state, he definitely committing this parajika offense, the fourth parajika offense. There are 4 parajikas for bhikkhus, and if he knowingly that he has not attained supramundane level, in order to gain honor, respect, and material supports and so forth, just to become famous, if he simply tell others that he has attained state, definitely he becomes parajika.
What about, can you tell somebody if you attain jhana? Are you allowed to say that?
If you attain such a state and you can share that understanding with other monastics, if other monastics asked you are a monastic and you are living in the monastery, and other monastics are your brother monastics in the ordination, and then even if you are a female monastic, you have other female monastics, yes, your monastic sisters. If one of them asks you very sincerely, honestly, have you attained such and such a state, you can tell them that you have attained it, but you are not going out to declare in public that that is just boosting your ego. If you have attained such a state, you normally behave such a person, but let people understand your behavior through your behavior, using their eyes and ears and observing your behavior. They will conclude that you have some super normal attainments. But normally, you don't go and do it. If one does it, it is an indication that he has not attained such a state. If he goes out and tells on his own that he has attained such and such a state, that itself shows that has not attained that state.
What about a layperson? If you're a layperson, can you share with your teacher or somebody that's really close to you?
Even lay people, there have been many lay people in the times of the Buddha. Only the Buddha declared that such and such a lay person attained supramundane level, Chittagapati, Kujutara, and so forth. They never told anybody, according to the literature. We have never seen or read that any lay person also would tell other lay people that they have attained. Through their behavior, many lay people, inferentially understand this person is unusually noble, very ethical, moral, and so on. Through the behavior, they understand. But not even lay person. Whoever, whether lay person or monastic, declares themselves as, so I have attained such and such a state, that is an indication that the person has not attained it.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Bhante, how do we, when we are asked to let go of Dhamma like a raft after realization, does this mean to let go of conceit or self-view? When we are asked to let go of Dhamma like a raft, does it mean to let go of conceit and self-view?
Again, that question is not clear to me. How
we are asked to let go of Dhamma. We are asked to let go of Dhamma like a raft after some realization. Does this mean to totally let go of conceit and self-view? Does letting go of Dhamma like a raft, does it mean to totally let go of conceit and self-view? Should I say it again? Letting go of Dhamma like a raft, does it mean totally let go of conceit and self-view?
Let go of conceit and self-view?
Let go of Dhamma. Does let go of Dhamma mean let go of self-view and conceit? To let go of Dhamma, does it mean to let go of conceit and self-view?
Yes. If the question is in the chat box.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. It'll be hard for you to find it. So the question is about letting go of Dhamma. Letting go of Dhamma like a raft. Does this mean to let go completely of conceit and self-view?
Yeah, letting go of karma, right?
Dhamma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. yes, letting go of Dhamma is very highly recommended by the Buddha, because even if we hold on to Dhamma, we indicate that we have desire for Dhamma. And in Alagadupama Sutta, Buddha said, because even the Dhamma should let go, let alone Adhamma. Dhamma pipātabha pageva Adhamma. Let go of Dhamma, let alone Adhamma. That means, and see the simile he has given is Kullupama bhikkhave Dhamman desami Nitharanatthaya Gunogahanatthaya. Monks, I teach the Dhamma similar to raft. Raft is used only to cross a body of water. After crossing the body of water, you don't carry the raft on your shoulder. You leave the raft behind. Similarly, once you use the Dhamma to attain liberation, even after that, you don't hold on to Dhamma, even though Dhamma is such a marvelous means to attain liberation. We must let go of Dhamma. That doesn't mean that we commit all kind of wrong, immoral things. No, that means we don't, once we cling to Dhamma, what happens, people become fanatics. Those who are clinging to their own religious traditions, they don't hesitate to even kill others because of the attachment to the religious beliefs. And this sort of distortion can happen when people attach to their religion, their Dhamma. And Buddha said, don't attach to, even if somebody criticizes Dhamma, just listen very carefully, mindfully listen. And if it is, not correct, it is unfair criticism, then you can tell them, man, Mr. or Mrs. or whatever, that we don't find in the Dhamma. If somebody praise the Dhamma, you don't become full of joy and say, clap your hands and so forth. You said, yes, that is true. So you can, Buddha has mentioned this in Digha Nikaya, in first discourse, Brahmajala Sutta. He mentioned this. If somebody praised the Buddha or blamed the Buddha, if anybody blamed the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, don't be jubilant, full of joy, but you say, it's true. If they blame it, then you say, don't get upset. One can maintain that kind of attitude when one does not cling to Dhamma. And that's what Buddha wanted us to do.
Does this also mean letting completely go of conceit and self-view?
Right. That is letting go of self-notion, self-view. Yeah.
The next question, Bhante, is how do we manage feelings of regret after unskillful behavior without feeling of resentment towards ourselves? So if we have done something wrong and we regret what we've done wrong, how do we avoid not having feelings of resentment toward ourselves?
How can we manage?
So if we have feelings of regret after we've done something wrong, after unskillful behavior, How do we not become resentful towards ourselves for having done something wrong when we have regret?
Yes, when you have done something resentful, right?
Something wrong, something unskillful,
Yes.
and then we regret it. How do you not start resenting yourself, blaming yourself, resenting yourself?
Now, that is blaming or resenting yourself is a very foolish thing, because we all understand that until we attain full enlightenment, we are not perfect. We are still liable to commit mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And therefore, until we eliminate our greed, hatred, and delusion completely from our mind, until we attain full enlightenment, we are subject to committing mistakes. And when we commit mistakes, we understand at unmindful moment, and because of the influence of somebody else, because of the fear, there are 4 kinds of biases: chanda, dosa, bhaya, moha, because of will, desire, and hate, anger, and fear, and confusion. Sometimes one can commit unwholesome thing, wrong thing, unethical thing. So one later on understand, I was under I was under the influence of such and such bias, and that time I did it. Now I don't want to do it anymore, and make a commitment not to commit such and such an offense anymore, and determined to get out of that. And Buddha said, Yasa papam katang kammam kusalena pitiyati. So imang lokam pabhaseti abba mutto chandima. When somebody has done something wrong, immediately understand it, or later on understand it, and then decide not to commit it again. That person will shine like the moon free from clouds. So that is what we have. That is why we have to practice mindfulness. So when we practice mindfulness, we understand that what we have done wrong, and therefore we decide not to do it again and commit from that time wholesome things, become more mindful. I think, Chaturi,
Yes, Bhante.
this must be enough, and thank you very much. And let us spend some time in meditation. You all have to pardon me, my hearing sometimes is not very good. Very soon I'm going to get a hearing aid.
Good.
So then I can hear you well. All right. So let us do some meditation, okay? How to get this sound? All right. Okay. Let us meditate now. Let me recite the passage from Loving Friendliness Discourse. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds, whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long or large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth. May all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another, as a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child. Even so, towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views that virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures, one comes never again to birth in the womb. So let us meditate at least for another uh, 25 minutes. Okay. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Bhavana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be, from the highest realm of existence to the lowest. May all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Friends, this is the end of this morning session, and I want to share merits with everybody. And my regular metta wish, may all those who are suffering in hospitals taken care of by very compassionate doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs. May they recover very soon and return to their normal life and find time to practice Dhamma and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all the doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs who are dedicating their lives, sacrificing their risk, comfort, risking their life to take care of these people, may they find peace, happiness, find ways to practice Dhamma and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May those who have been grieving the death of their relatives all over the world, may they find ways to overcome their grief, understanding Dhamma, practice Dhamma and meditation, and liberate themselves from suffering not only in this life, but any life in samsaric existence. And all those who are victims of various wars, crimes, discriminations, may they find somehow solace and comfort, and to find ways to liberate themselves from such a situations and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering through the practice of Dhamma. May all those who have caused harm to others have compassionate heart, have wisdom to stop all of them and help people, living beings, to find peace, which is the most valuable mental state that we all must share equally. May they find all peace, happiness, and liberation from samsaric suffering. May everyone else, whoever, whatever state they are, find peace and happiness, liberate from samsaric suffering. Friends, I also want to thank you all for participating in this, helping others, encouraging others to practice Dhamma and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. We don't have to suffer unnecessarily. Try to understand Dhamma and be free from suffering. Have a very peaceful, wonderful day.
Thank
Okay.
you. Sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu,
Bhante.
sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good help to you. Good help.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
One.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.